Cheers.
Rips in the office. You're here with me, the Fawcett, John and Warren, and of course, we are joined by the good doctor, Dr. Patrick Ford. How are we doing tonight, Patty?
John, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. I'm excited.
Yeah, good. I think the people are excited to hear about your week. We've got a fun show for you tonight, and I think I might be using the word fun a little loosely there, but we're going to hit you with some work stories, some family stuff, dad life. I'm sure we'll touch on all the network drama, KMS topics in general. But before we get started, here at Drips in the Office, we don't care how long your commute is, how many expense reports you had filled out this week, and how many meetings that could have been an email. This will be the most boring part of your week. And to start off, Pat, am I seriously to believe that you had yet another conference on EV charging? Does it ever end?
Got the drink in me going back to back. Yes, we had another conference this week. Just a one-day hitter, but riveting nonetheless. We learned, I don't know if you want to go back to you or you want me to just go on EV, because I could go all day now with all the info I learned. But yeah, another conference this week.
Let's touch on a little EV. We'll get going with that. I think the people will get going on EV, and then I know everyone wants to know about my Vermont trip, so we'll get there after.
Sure. No, definitely. I'm looking forward to the Vermont trip. Yeah, I had an 8-hour conference long on EV charging, the future, how it's going to work in parking garages and different parking assets. So for me, it was very cool. That's one of the facets of the business that I'm just not too familiar with. I drive a Ford Explorer. There's no electricity in that except for the radio. And the fascinating part about the EV charging isn't so much the chargers themselves or kind of even the electricity voltage needed. It's the funding. You have to think, though. So that was my thing. I was like, why is there so much funding over there? There's going to be $750 million of federal funding. Thanks, Joey B. For EV charging. And the goal, obviously, I think it's like, geez, I listened the whole time. I can't remember. Everything to go EV by 2035. Listen, I didn't say it during the presentation. Seems like that's a tall task.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
No way. But I did find some very cool things. There was about 12 different speakers. I actually talked to a couple of them afterwards, which was nice. My favorite was a guy that did EV charging from telephone poles, and we talked about the accidents that come with that. So
EV charging from telephone poles. Okay. All right.
Yeah, right. So listen, street side is one of the things that needs the most. People don't have that street side option right now. It's basically just garages, even in your driveway, couple parking lots here and there. But these fellas are actually attaching to street poles with about, depends on the size, 30 to 40 foot cord that detaches once you start your session. That'll bring the charger right down to your car, so you can charge while you're parallel parked.
So okay, all right, parallel. I was going to say, so are you just driving and then you pull to the side of the road that there's just like a charger right there? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so it's a double whammy, right? So there's now municipalities and kind of different jurisdictions that want to incorporate the metered spots. So you're already getting a little bit of coin for the metered parking spot there is. Why not drop an EV down and collect a little more revenue? So it's fascinating to see how that'll go.
You know, it's funny that, let's say I'm at like a gas station or even a parking lot, whatever, and I see these EV charging stations. Whenever I see someone charging up, I almost like incorrectly, I'm like, oh, I feel bad. They're charging up right now. Like they have to charge. But meanwhile, I'm filling my gas up. I'm filling my car with gas. Like, what's the difference? But I'm always looking at them like, oh, you ran out of electricity. You know, it makes 0 sense, but that's just the way my brain works.
I'm with you. The biggest difficulty for us in the biz, as I say, is people who park their cars in an EV charging space and they go off with their day for 8 hours. The general parking spot turns over 2 to 3 times a day. If I got an EV boat sitting there, I'm toast. I'm just getting one daily revenue. So listen, these are all the hurdles, the dips, the peaks, and valleys. See, got it that. The peaks and valleys that we go through in this industry. But listen, if you want to take a couple hours, we could really dive into this, but I don't think anybody wants that. I heard. Go ahead.
2035, you're gonna get us there.
Imagine if I'm the key. I drive us into the future. I don't think so. I'm not a huge fan of it right now, but I'm all about the bottom line. Now, John, I don't mean to steal your thunder, but can I hear about the Vermont trip, or what's the scoop here? There's a whole bunch of scuttlebutt.
Yeah. A couple bonehead moves by me on the Vermont trip. Like I should have taken a key to begin with. So for those who didn't see the video that went up, I was on my way to Vermont. I'm doing a little work trip. And honestly, the trip was just to go up, visit some employees, just make sure they're doing well, take them out to dinner, stuff like that. But as part of it, I wanted to invite some of these people, or most of them work from home. So the idea was, why don't you come into the remote office that we have and we'll work together for a full day. So I'm driving up. I'm probably close to New Hampshire at this point. And I realized not only do I not have a key, but I get a message from someone going, "Hey, the guy that opens the office, family emergency, he doesn't have a key. There's no way to get into the office." So I'm like, all right, this fucking sucks. And I told this lady to come into the office, you know. So I eventually find a guy who lives relatively close, who has a key, drive to his house, get the key. The woman obviously is already there, kind of like waiting for me. So we open the office, boom, alarm starts going off. Like I'm panicking. I'm supposed to be like, you know, I'm her boss. I'm supposed to be like the professional here. So I'm running around. I don't have a code. So finally my boss like texts me. He's like, "Yo, what's going on?" I'm like, "Sorry, dude, didn't have a key, don't know the code." So he turns it off. And like, meanwhile, this is in like a office park, and we have a suite inside a building with other suites there. So
You're
now
the asshole.
yeah, you've got all like the other people starting to like kind of poke their heads out, like, what the hell's going on around here? So a little bit of a disaster to start. And then so that was in White River Junction. And then I'm supposed to meet some other employees at night to take them out to dinner. I hadn't really heard from these guys. Like we're in a group chat, but they're not really saying much. So I'm like, "Guys, where do you want to go for dinner? What do you want to do? I don't know the area. Just tell me where to go."
Are you getting any responses at all, or is it just like, yeah, no, or just dead air?
So they're talking back and forth like, "Hey, where should we go?" Or I might have an idea. I'm driving. I'll let you know in a minute. But we're getting to the point where I'm like, it's an hour and 20 minutes for me to go from White River Junction to Burlington. So I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm just gonna drive to Burlington and then just let me know where to go." So I'm driving. I go all the way to Burlington. I get downtown Burlington. I'm driving around for like 20 minutes. I sent you a DM. I was like, "Pat, you gotta hook me up with some parking, dude. I can't figure out how to park down here." Get out of my car. By the way, I paid $40 to park. No big deal.
Sorry about that. It's a market I haven't tapped into yet, but down the road, I'll be able to help you out.
I start walking around downtown. I don't see this Thai. We're going to a Thai place. I don't see the Thai place. I call one of the guys. I'm like, "Hey, what's the name of this Thai place again?" He's like, "Oh, it's, you know, whatever the name is. It's in Essex." I'm like, "It's in Essex." Look at my GPS. Essex is 26 miles away. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Dude, I jumped in my car. I had to drive 25 minutes to finally meet these guys. So it was a fun time, but like there's just one thing after the other. I was just like bonehead move after bonehead move.
Now, are you staying overnight, or is this just a day trip? I think I know the answer, but I might as well ask.
Yeah, staying overnight. I mean, by the time I got to the Burlington area where my hotel was, that's a 4-hour ride back home to Rhode Island. And honestly, I thought these guys were going to want to like go out, maybe downtown Burlington after, bar hop a little
cocaine?
bit.
No,
a little bit. But no, we got dinner. Went to a brewery, had like 2 beers, and they're like, "All right, man, it was good to see you. Thanks for driving up." So I just kind of like went back to my hotel, went to bed. But kind of nice, like waking up that next morning and not being super hungover for a 4-hour ride home. So
yeah.
I'll take that. Not too bad.
Now, a little off topic, and you said it. I've never had Thai food before. I don't even know what it is, frankly. Is it like Chinese food? I've always wanted this, but I've always been like a little self-conscious to ask. I probably should Google it.
Dude, Thai food's great. It's in the ballpark. It's like pad Thai is kind of like the big one, which is like noodles and chicken or beef or whatever. That's what I went with. And honestly, the menu is huge. And I was pretending to look through it, and I just knew I was getting chicken pad Thai. Like there was no doubt in my mind that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I started Chinese food last year, first time ever. Most of it's cooked with peanut oil, but I found a joint near me that's not. So
Oh,
I've
that's
been,
right. The peanut allergy.
yeah,
Yeah. A lot of peanuts in Thai food. A lot of peanuts.
we could go into peanut oil too. It's just a cheaper oil. That's why you'll see a lot of fast food joints, Five Guys, etc., because it's quick. You need quick turn times. It doesn't last long on the shelf. But your higher class establishments are going to go with canola 10 times out of 10. So luckily, the Islander down the road, no free plugs, but shout out, they use canola oil. So I've been really enjoying Chinese food.
There you go. Were you trying to get into claims 10K per labor hours, or are the people not ready for that yet?
You got to keep them. You got to keep them wanting to come back for something else. You know
Guys,
what I mean?
next week. Next week,
Next
that's what we're
week,
getting into.
and that's something I've been putting a lot of work in on too, and it'll blow a few minds. It's not just the labor hours; it's the lead up to it. So put that one on the back burner. Maybe we'll get to that next week. Maybe week 4. Who knows? But yeah,
That's true.
it's a good teaser, John. Pro tease. Well done.
I had an interesting experience at the office last week. So as I said last time, we sell medical equipment. We had a customer come in there's like a lobby and people could come in for appointments and stuff like that. I get a message from the receptionist and he's like, hey, there's a customer here. Like we sold her this medical device last week. She says it like smells bad and she wants to exchange it. I'm like, all right, whatever, we can exchange it. I'm not even thinking, like, she's in the building. We're not gonna make a big fuss. I'm like, all right, let's just exchange it. He's like, yeah, that's what she expected, but she's hoping a manager will come down and sniff it.
Like, these people are the worst.
I was like, I'm a little busy, and he's like, yeah, she really wants someone to come down here and smell it. I'm like, dude, what is happening? Like, I have to go downstairs, meet this woman, and smell this thing. So long story short, and the thing is, I'm telling people like around my office, so I'm not smelling it. I'm gonna go down there. I'm just gonna tell her we're exchanging it. I went down there.
Smelled it.
I looked at her.
Smelled the shit out of it.
She held it up to me. I fucking took a big whiff.
I knew it. You got to do it. When you're in that spot, you got to do it. If I had $1 for every time it's happened to me, I'd be rich. Did it smell?
Something. It smelled.
You don't like that? Why not? Smells. Oh, yeah, I bet it does.
Did it? Okay. Yeah, she had a point. Good for her. She really wanted to drive it home too.
Yeah.
I thought of you over the weekend. I was cleaning out one of our storage rooms downstairs, and I found the breast pump from when my son was first born. So little picture right there.
Go. Are you going to use that one, or you want another one?
I won't be using it. But
people were asking.
Yeah, I saw the comments. Thick boy. Yeah, I mean, I could use it in theory. I might do that. Maybe that'll be episode 5 or something. I'll try out a breast pump.
Let me say this. If it's not a portable one, you got to get into the portable game. For baby number 2, we went portable. Absolute game changer.
Brother, already there. There. We got an at-home doozy, and then we got a portable one that we got coming down. We used it for him. It's got a few years on it. Do breast pumps age? Is there like newer models coming out year over year? So pretty much, is it like Xboxes?
You're gonna get newer models, but it's not really year to year. Like if yours is 3 years old, I'm sure that thing's fine. I mean,
same car, different paint.
Dude, give it a sniff.
That's true. I could give it a sniff.
Give it a good sniff.
Good point. Maybe I'll do that after this.
Oh, so another thing that happened today, I'm backing out of my driveway. I get a text from somebody saying, hey, water main broke at the office. So I'm going to be working from home until Thursday, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
Did you break it?
It would have been like a good sneaky move.
Yeah.
There's definitely one negative that comes with that. I don't know if you saw Cain is Abel's video about Wendy's breakfast. Got a little bit of traction. I was really pumped up to get Wendy's breakfast this morning, but I ended up staying home, so I couldn't do that. So Cain, Thursday, I'll get back at you and let you know how it was.
Yeah, that was an interesting video. Seems like he's housing out one of the girls from Wendy's, which good for him, I guess. But you still could have got the breakfast. I wonder if he has like a discount code he gives you. Is this the same woman that he gave his mother's ashes to on their first date or something along those lines?
You're half right. It was his brother's ashes. But I do believe it is the same woman, and I hear she's lovely.
Yeah.
So we won't besmirch her name.
No, of course not. We won't even bring it up. Good for him. Glad he's happy. Hopefully he doesn't kill her and lock her up in a closet somewhere.
We can't guarantee anything.
Nope.
Anything else on the work front for you in the parking world? Anything we need to know about? Anything you could kind of sneaky let us know besides the 2035 business?
No, I think you're experiencing it too, and you mentioned it a little bit there. The never ending battle coming out of COVID for us has been the hybrid workplace, and it's unfortunately something we're trying to live with. But I mean, it's no secret parking lots made a killing off of monthly parkers pre-COVID. We got guys like you heading into the office without breaks in the water main 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week if they're an overachiever. So we're racking in off the monthly parking. Now if you listen, I'm sort of in the MBTA game too. Don't tell anybody. I know the trains pretty well. If you look at just the train schedules alone, let's use 100 as our baseline, right? Monday, 20 people. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, anywhere from 90 to 100. Friday, back to 30. So for me, for you, the parker, am I going to buy a monthly parking pass? Absolutely not. My ROI is just not there. So we've been very dynamic with kind of, the early bird special stuff like that, more of a rewards program type of thing to honor those that do take the time to come into the office. So it's all about innovation. It's all about innovation. And that's something where it's part of life now. We all got vaccinated. We all have the chip. Now it's the same thing as parking. We all have the chip of hybrid work. So same thing. Shout out Montante.
Shout out. Let's move over to a little bit of dad life stuff. I mean, how many aquariums are you visiting this week? Do you have plans to visit more?
Did I tell you how many I've been to this week?
No, I'm waiting to hear about it.
In the last 7 days, I've been to the aquarium 5 times.
I believe it. And you're not with the kids, right? It's just you.
So I'm not even joking with you. Like we like to have fun here. I think the aquarium is my happy place because all the work stress, it just kind of goes away. You see your kid run around, there's big fish everywhere. They got sharks. And it's not even really an aquarium. It's like a warehouse that they put in like 100 fish tanks. Shout out Biomes, no free ads. But I'm telling you, we're really loving the aquarium right now. It's a stress reliever. You go there and just kind of look at a fish, and it could be a lot worse because sometimes it's sad because they're just in the tank and it's like should be in the ocean. But most of them are rescues. So
I love the idea of like your kids like tugging on your shirt to go to like the next exhibit, and you're just sitting there like.
They got a big old turtle too. They got a huge turtle there too. Yeah, I have done that. Like there's this eel. I don't like eels, but it's fascinating. But yeah, I'm big on the aquarium right now.
You're not going to pull like an Earl Woods on your kid. I know you're a big golf guy. Like what's going on with that? Is he golfing with you yet?
Not yet. I don't want to be like Earl, but this summer we're going to get him back in there. He was swinging a golf club pretty well last year, but he absolutely, where is she? He absolutely rocked the dog. He just took like a 7-iron full speed, and it fucked him up. Yeah, he was all bent out of shape. So I have plastic clubs now, plastic balls, plastic tees. She'll be safe. But yeah, we'll get him into it. And if he's good, like if I notice that he is good, I will go full Earl Woods. Not a problem. Tiger had that one little slip up where he just, cheated on his wife 172 times and smashed up a car. And other than that, he's had a pretty damn good life. So it could be worse.
That's true. It could be worse. I want to pose this scenario to you. So this Sunday, suppose that was yesterday, we were going to my wife's college friend's house. It's like a new house. So this was sort of like it was like a housewarming brunch situation. Okay.
Okay.
We're getting there, leaving the house around 9:30 ish. AM. I hadn't eaten a thing. I was up with the kids all morning, just housing coffee. But my wife made this wonderful like breakfast casserole, had like tater tots, eggs, sausage, the whole gambit.
Wow.
And I know that everyone else is going to have like all this good food. So I'm like, all right, I didn't eat, but there's all this good food when I get there. But that type of food on just coffee, and it's in that poop o'clock, like I think poop o'clock it's in that 10 to 11 range. I mean, sometimes I can go early around 9.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm driving to the house. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it dawned on me, like, if it comes to that, am I pooping in this person's brand new house with like 15 other people around? Thankfully, it didn't come to that. But what do you think your move would be in that scenario? Like, are you holding no matter what? Or are you just like,
Nope.
Are you just letting it go?
I'm going to shit in the house. I'm going to turn the faucet on. Shout out you.
No
if it's upstairs, it's a no-brainer. But like if you're in the kitchen right here and it's like the bathroom is adjacent to the kitchen, the whole part. Like the last thing you need is blowing the doors off of that place. So I think in an instance where it was that close quarters, I might say I have to go get something at the store or make something up.
That's true. Yeah.
And take a dump at Cumberland Farms. But what would you do is say that you did have to take a dump at this period of time?
So the bathroom wasn't that far away from the kitchen, which everyone was at. I was definitely thinking like, all right, what I was actually thinking about doing. So the kids kept on running upstairs and like, that's not where they should have been hanging out. So I was thinking about literally grabbing my son and fucking like tossing him up the stairs and being like, he's upstairs again. And then it's like I'm going to get him, and then I just try to go as fast as I can. I was playing this scenario out as fast as I can, or as much as I could.
I think that's a good play. I'm at that phase too, where you use him as a pawn, not like a pawn, but like if you need to do something like that, just throw him up the stairs. That's a good play. But no, I mean, what do they expect?
I know.
A bunch of copies.
It's true.
Right.
Let me
cut you off here. And we have a word from our sponsors. I'd like to slide to that right now because I can't stop thinking about it. Roll it.
Hi folks, Jim Fickett here, Registered Maine Guide with Honey Badger Guide Service on Sebago Lake, Maine. Our goal here is to provide a safe fishing experience for everyone. Kids of all ages can come aboard. We like to put people on fish, show them how we do it here, and hopefully make a lot of memories for years to come. The boat is a 25-foot Robalo dual console with 300 horsepower Yamaha 4-stroke engine and a matching 15-horse Yamaha kicker. Plenty of seating, plenty of cup holders, plenty of rods, and we even got a head on board.
Hi, my name's Greg. My buddy Tony and I went out with Jim today and we had an incredible time. We were on the fish all day. We caught 14 total. The boat's in immaculate shape. All of his gear is top of the line and Jim's a great guy. So if you're looking to charter a guide for Sebago Lake, I would strongly encourage going with Honey Badger Guide Service.
So if you want to catch some salmon and lake trout on Sebago Lake, give us a call. 207-714-0880 or visit us on the web at fishsebago.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
Wow. We love our sponsors here at Drips in the Office, don't we, Pat?
We're only as good as the guys that support us. Guys and gals 2024. So,
that's right.
Thank you.
Shout out to Honey Badger. So your wife is 4 months pregnant. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Are you ready to start? I think the hardest part is starting over. Like your son's 2 years old. I think you're starting to get that good sleep schedule. He's probably eating pretty good. Everything is starting to kind of ease out a little bit, and you're gonna start right back over again, baby.
Yep. Yeah, I have a better outlook on it than that. We're at like the talk back stage and I'm a smart ass stage. He's definitely my kid, which is troubling. It's going to be tough down the road because he's going to be smarter than me in a matter of time. So I'm looking at it as a restart. So I have a cute little baby coming in. They'll probably like me a lot. And I'll be the comfort and all that good stuff. Dad of the year, DILF of the year. So yeah, I'm nervous. I know the reality of it, which you're speaking of. But I'm trying to have a bright outlook on it, and if not, I just head to the aquarium.
Yeah, that's the fallback. I think the one thing I was thinking about the other day with my little one, who's 9 months now, is I forgot about the clothes. So I'm putting on a onesie, and they got the buttons, dude. Let me say something.
Go ahead.
It wasn't snap buttons. It was actual like buttons that you have to like fit through the hole. Like whoever invented that, I don't want to say they should be killed, but we should start talking re-education camps for these people, dude. It was bad.
Gig should quote tweet them. Gig should quote tweet them like the people in Haiti that he did, which he'll never do again, hopefully. And they should be killed. They should 100% be killed. We had one of those. I threw it away right away. I was in the middle of the game. I'm like, fuck this. Absolutely not. I'm a little sleepies guy, top to bottom. It's just the only way we roll. You a little sleepies guy?
No free ads. We've gone there. No, absolutely. You find a brand you like and you run with it.
Bingo. Has this last 2 days been hell for you with daylight savings with children or what?
Yeah, it was like.
First of all, I never know which way we're
going. I think I asked my wife like 10 times. I'm like, is this a good one? Is this a bad one?
Oh, I never know.
People were saying this was the good one, but when my kid woke up at 5, it was actually 4. So I don't know how great it was, but I understand we're getting more daylight. But I think the first couple of days are tough on the kids.
Gosh, brutal. We slept until 9 o'clock somehow, and that just fucked them up. I think even more, which was actually 8 o'clock. So I went to bed at 6:45 tonight, and then started yelling at me. So it's been a whole thing. I think they should outlaw daylight savings time. I know it helps the farmers. Shout out Sheldon. If you want to do some real work, you can come join us and maybe leave that life in the past. So,
absolutely. So moving on to the KMS drama, Kirk stuff. I think I'm going to need you to guide me through a little bit. I mean, you were right in the middle of some of this stuff with Steve from Gloucester, Steve from Gloucester, as Montante might say. I think you're going to have to run through Gloucester, run through that for me. I think, obviously we can talk about some other topics. I do have some notes just on the Sick Show, the Unnamed Show, the Producer Show, but I'm going to let you take it away to start off the KMS stuff for us.
Okay, so listen, I won't go into it in too much detail. One thing I don't like is I don't like turmoil. I don't like to see people in situations they don't want to be put in. But let me start with this. You always look on the news, and they're really unfortunate stories when you see them. And it'll be like, 12-year-old chained up in basement for 2-3 years, not fed, malnourished. And it's like, oh, geez, that's tough, but hopefully they recover, right? John from Scranton is no longer tied to the radiator. He is in his goddamn bag. The edits are unbelievable, right? It's like he's been free. A weight has been lifted off his shoulders. And I want John to know, if he's listening, we support him and are very grateful for everything he's done. And we think he's an asset to this team over here at Chips in the Office. So I wanted to get that out of the way first and foremost, because he's been through it. Secondly, yeah, it's just been a really wild week. Kirk, the way I look at it, John, Kirk was kind enough to open his arms and allow us onto the main YouTube channel for the Kirk Minihane Show. Yep, thank you, Kirk. Behind our faces here is the logo to that show. That's why we're here. That's why all of us are here. So I thought everybody would be super excited, right?
Sure.
Turns out most are, but some aren't. And I feel bad for those people. I truly, truly do, because this is an amazing opportunity we have here. Thank you, Kirk. But yeah, the fallout has been nothing short of tumultuous.
Yeah. Wow. Speaking of that word you just said, I didn't really understand the audio that I think it was Fuss that released about Justin. Like I think that went over my head. I don't really know what happened with that. I got to be honest.
I think me too. I've heard a bunch of different things about it where I think it all dates back to Clemmer, because Justin did that show, The Fuck Ups of Justin. I could be totally wrong in this. The Fuck Ups of Justin, he did
Kirk Mountain,
great show. Yep. Go listen to it on the network. Real network. He did that because apparently Clemmer tipped him off to the Mount Kirkmore guys doing that for their next episode. So immediately everybody thought it was John from Scranton who was the rat. But I think Beanbag Rod reached out to Clemmer either to ask him about it.
People say John the Rat, not true, fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. The only people who are saying that right now are 4'8" in the belly of a kangaroo. So let's just get that totally squared away, right? Anyway, back to where I was, because I'm so flustered by this whole situation. So yeah, I don't know how it got leaked, but Justin seemed very upset in that very long message that I had a difficult time reading with my ADD. But yeah, I'm equally as confused as you are on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay out of that one. Not really for me. But with all that going on, we of course had the rundown.
Great show.
We had
great guys.
Great guys at the rundown. I was legitimately laughing at the Sheldon takes. Like, he was so angry. There was a moment where he's like, I don't care if it was 97 hours or 100 hours. It was fucking terrible. And then it goes into like his Mayo hate. Like, it just went from one thing to the other.
That should be a segment every week, in my opinion. But yeah, that was a phenomenal episode. Phenomenal episode.
That was
Go
really
check
good.
that out. But that all ties into the Steve from Gloucester drama or what have you. Those guys at the rundown, through thick and thin, have always supported Steve from Gloucester. They're supportive guys, as is. They've always supported Steve. You know, some people are up on Steve, some people are down on Steve. You know what? Freaking save it and just check out the Consistency Pod. He'll answer all your questions. But they
which I
on
did
the
listen to
other
today.
home run, they did on the other network. They released the Consistency Pod at 9:30 and Jeopardy at 10 on Saturday morning, which was the same time slot that the rundown has been in for as long as it's been back, right? Saturday, 10 a.m. I set my alarm to it every week. So that was done. You know, the whole point of all this is we want Minifans to just have as much content as they possibly can, right? So when you're doubling stuff up like that, right, whether it be on the network or anywhere else, when you're doing that, you're kind of taking away from the viewer, which is something that, you know, our CEO and leader, well, John's the CEO, I guess. So our leader, president of the board, president of the organization, the owner, Kirk, he would never do that. So anyway, I will not say, I'm not going to sit here, right? I will not sit here and say, hey, I reached out to Steve to remind him that the rundown guys have always been great to him and basically what was happening. So that wasn't something that I did necessarily. Okay. But it seems like somebody did, right?
Somebody
and Steve at that point was like, listen, people might have their, you know, differences with me, but those guys are loyal to me, and now I'm being used as a pawn in this whole scheme. So he enough is enough. He wanted to come over to the green grass side, and God bless him. So that's the real whole Steve thing. Like I said, I didn't have anything to do with it per se, but somebody definitely did probably reach out to him.
And we might get a Steve from Gloucester on the main show next week. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
That'd be exciting.
He is dying to get in there. I think at the end he slipped it in the Consistency podcast. He was like, "Yeah, it got postponed, but I think I'll be in there again." Oh, I love it.
No, I think it's all fun. I think it's great that Kirk gave us this opportunity, and we're not going to squander it.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to listen to or watch the producer show?
Yes, I did.
How about the Justin Awards?
I did.
Yeah,
I didn't know what I was getting there.
I thought it was going to be live. That's my only knock on it. And when I was watching it, I was like convinced it was live. And then you could see kind of the cut in the video, and I was like, oh shit! I'm in the chat assuming it's live, so I'm talking as if it's live. I'm like, Justin, this like.
Then he jumped in. He jumped in it. He commented it wasn't. But I don't watch, like, I haven't seen any of those movies they talked about. Nothing. So it was cool for me. I was Googling before when he read them out, and I was making my own picks. So I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, couples big surprises out of the Justin Awards. I never would have thought that Blink-182, Taylor, and Kirk Minihane would take home awards. So that was really interesting to see.
Yeah, shocker. Vegas got that one wrong. Got that one wrong.
I mean, even Robbie V was just kind of like, wow, that just took everybody by surprise.
Can't make every shot you take.
Yeah.
Gretzky, Michael Scott.
One thing I got to say about the last main show we got, which was the sick day, is Coleman, man, he just continues to not do himself any favors with the gay stuff in that boobs versus ass debate. It was just like every second he gets to try to like break himself out of that narrative, he just fucking digs himself even deeper.
He's just so deep in ass, it doesn't matter if it's male or female. He won't look outside of it. So yeah, he's got to think before he speaks. If he is gay, no worries. But if you're not, you got to think before you speak.
My man just absolutely hates boobs.
What a
also,
joke. Boobs
for those
is bad.
taking notes at home, we got another Jeff D'Lo out of Coleman in the producer show.
Yeah.
Took note of that.
Yep. Now, have you listened to every 5 hour and 49-minute episode that's hit the stream?
From the Jim Tomei stuff?
Yeah.
No, I haven't listened to all in podcast form because I felt like I literally spent every waking moment while that was going on. Like I would go to bed, wake up, look at my phone. There was a moment where I think I was like giving the kids a bath and I kept hearing this noise. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like it sounded like a squirrel like scratching something. And I finally looked down in my pocket and pulled out my phone. It was just Coleman snoring. I was like, oh yeah, I've got this stream on for 20
That was a
hours.
low for me. That was a low for me when I'm like, all right, let's see when he wakes up. Nope, he's not awake yet. Then I was like, I have to close this. Like this guy's sleeping and snoring. Justin was definitely asleep too.
We also had the Montante show featuring Mick. Mick and the Minifans, which was a good episode.
9 deep.
Yeah. Well, the thing with that is I read all the comments before that, and everyone's like, "Oh, so many people! Like, what a mess! What a disaster!" And then I listened to it, and it wasn't.
It
like
was
people were
fine.
talking. Yeah, they weren't talking over each other or anything. Like, I thought Mick did a pretty good job hosting.
Yeah, I did too. I think that was a good episode. It's good to see it on the Real Network too. It's a nice change of pace. So I hope that continues. Her BA's back this week, so you basically get the platform and the talent. It's going to be a home run. That's really going to take off on Friday nights. It was squandering a little bit else before, numbers wise, but I think it's really going to pick up now. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I think so too. What else you got KMS related?
Kirk's sick. Not great.
Hashtag feel better.
Okay. I know he was, they canceled it this morning. Said he's still not feeling great. If he's listening to this, God willing, don't feel the need to rush in for me and the guy sitting in my right. Take your time, take some rest. We want just make sure you're happy, healthy, hungry, and just ready to go. So I still got some re-listening to do of the 42-hour stream, so I'll be content. But I hope Kirk gets better soon. Hashtag get well, Kirk. Yeah, we'll see how. I wonder if they'll do a show tomorrow. See how it goes. But I'm excited for this week. We got some big guests.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I wonder if today, him not being in today, does that mess anything up with Steve and Whitney? I don't think it will, but I certainly hope it doesn't.
Probably not. I think Steve, unless there's another Chinese weed house that gets blown up or something, he's got to run off to. Then duty calls, and then Whitney. It's not golf season yet, so he won't be tearing up any greens. So I'm sure he's good for the Thursday or whenever he's supposed to be in. So he's got a lot of questions to answer. I'd like to see him in there.
I know it's been talked about quite a bit, but when we had Whitney, Dave, and Kirk watching the Clemmer stream on the Unnamed show,
that's so good.
I've never understood like these younger kids being able to like watch people do things. Like they'll watch someone play a video game or watch someone watch a video. Like that never interests me until that moment when I watched them watch Clemmer. I was fucking on the edge of my seat. Like every time Whitney was like, go back to the stream. Like I was fucking dying.
Clemmer is such a maniac for thinking that would work. Sleeping for like probably 40 to 50, legitimately 40 to 50 hours plus of that stream. It was so great how they just kept going to him, and every time he was asleep too. And Clemmer's
moved the book.
Moved the book and went back to bed. He's just a weird guy too. Some random account, I think might have been that Stooley Clubhouse guy tweeted something today about Ohio State, and he was like, when Kelly Keys wakes up in 4 hours, she's gonna love this. And like Clemmer replies, and he's like, she actually got to the office this morning at 7:30. It's like, all right, you cuck. Like, take it easy. You don't have to white knife for all these people, but
especially when it's just a joke. Like, just let the joke.
That New York office is a mess. Throw Steve from Gloucester in that New York office. Throw Mayo in there so they can structure themselves a little bit. Email or meeting. He'll enlighten them on that. Who else? Who else could you throw in there to really pump it up? Montante, a right wing show at Barstool, New York. That'll go well.
I was saying that Montante joke on the Beyond Average was legitimately fucking funny.
Yeah,
And
I don't know if we can bring that up.
I won't repeat the joke, but when Kirk repeated it on his show,
He messaged me right after too. He's like, "Was that bad?" Like, holy,
it wasn't that bad. A joke's a joke.
No.
Funny is funny. That was great.
That was good.
And I think we should probably, another shout out to John from Scranton. He's got another show coming out on the network. I don't know if how much we should be promoting, but Open Borders. It seems like it's going to be a great show. And also, I want to say thank you to Gig too.
That was my next point. Beat me to it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gig and John from Scranton. You guys have been such a huge help, and I think that might be it for me tonight, Pat. I don't know.
We're the pretty faces, right? And those guys are the guys behind the scenes making us look that much prettier. So thank you, Gig. Thank you, Joe.